Hey everybody, Adam here with Bigfoot RC. Hope everybody's doing good out there in RC land today. We got the Blazer project back on the bench today, and we're going to do a little bit more work on that. Sorry for the delay in the video. It is middle of the busy season in the industry. I work in tires, and as you can imagine, it's been busy. So last we left off, we did a bunch of cutting on the chassis and the frame to get the semi tires to tuck up underneath. And this video, I was going to start by cutting the bed off and turning this into the pickup truck extension or pickup truck style bed. But the problem I'm having with that is with the new release of the RC four-wheel drive Scottsdale body, I really don't want to cut and destroy this body just to make a pickup truck out of it, when I think honestly at the end of the day most people are probably going to wind up buying the Scottsdale body to do a pickup truck conversion. And why destroy this body when I can save it and build a Blazer from it? So we're going to get rid of that body, and I have a donor body from another project that I had been working on for a while, and here it is. This is same thing, it's just a Blazer body that I actually did do the conversion on. So I did apply some paint to it. I was messing around with a few different things. This isn't going to be the color combination, but as you can see, I've already done the bed cut. I've put the box back on, or the cab conversion on the back point, and I've got the box over on my other workbench. But I think we'll start here today is let's take a look at this and determine what we need to cut, because obviously when we talked about the Blazer, we could actually extend out the sides by pulling them and get them to fit over. But with the back of the cab put on, it does kind of firm up and you get no flex, and I don't really want to try to flex, so that was going to cause damage to the back of the cab. So if we kind of look at it, we can see right here that we're going to most definitely have to trim some of the side of the chassis itself off. This is the Redcat 6.4 chassis. To get this to actually drop down and to get the cab to sit flush again. And we can see here, we're going to have to also trim out some of the front as well. So I'm going to grab my tools and I'm going to start marking this, and let's start doing some cutting. I think the goal for this video today is just to get the cab kind of fitted on there. Once we get the cab fitted on there, we'll come up with some side rails to help mount it, and we'll kind of get to that when we get to that. And the bed's going to be kind of the last thing that we're going to worry ourselves about, because we've got to do the bed, we've got to do the side steps, we've got to chop the chassis and extend it out. I don't want to get into too much of that until we can at least get the cab fitted on here. Once we get the cab fitted on, we'll be able to kind of draw our cut line to cut this chassis in half and then reassemble it. So yeah, let's get into this. So all I did there was just wanted to make a template so I knew where to cut. So I just used a piece of styrene kind of to get my straight edge all the way across. Bit of a pain because of the raised lip. And the reason I know where I want to cut is when you look at the back of the cab, like we said with the Blazer, the body itself is going to sit lower than the chassis does to kind of give that simulated body drop. So by saying that, I know that these points here where the body drops down has to become my cut point, because it's going to follow the exact same line, and I want the chassis to essentially sit at the bottom of this the back cab here, or somewhere close. We'll figure out the mounts. So that's how I knew where I wanted to mark. Now we're just going to start cutting. Dremel, handsaw, same old thing that I did with the other cuts all over the chassis. I'm going to take all of the strip out, but I'm not going to take this back corner out where the cab stops, because I don't know if I need any of this yet to mount the box on here. So we'll cut this off, and then we'll come back in and cut this out, and we'll see what the fitment looks like. All right, so we got one side done. Like we did the back, we'll come in and we'll clean this up later on and get that edge looking a little bit nicer. Do yourself a favor if you're going to attempt to do this, take the tires off. That would have made my life a bit easier. And I don't know that the Dremel's the best tool. This is a pretty thick, hard plastic. I got through it, but you know, it melts as much as it cuts. So you may want to try a different cutting mechanism. Yeah, that's probably six millimeters, I'm guessing, thick of a hardened plastic. So anyways, we made it through. Let's hop over to the other side. Actually, let's do a quick fitment. Just make sure my original thought is going to work. So I don't know if you can see it in the camera or not, but we now have clearance and that cab will drop right down. Obviously, we're going to have some issues here, but like I said, we'll get to all that when we get to it. So let's cut the other side and see where we wind up here. All right, there we got it. We got her all trimmed up. Like I said, we'll go in and clean it out. I am going to invest in a new Dremel soon, though. I've got two of these wireless ones, and I'll tell you, they just don't last, especially when you're cutting through this plastic. They're nice to have for, you know, not worrying about a cable and that, but I went through both of my Dremel batteries there, and they're both dead, so we're going to have to plug them both in. But let's do a quick little test fitment here. So again, you can see we notched and we trimmed out, you know, I think it was 11 millimeters plus this side brace. You're probably about 14, 15 millimeters off of the sides to get the body to clear. And I know when we put it on, we're still going to have some interference with the little mounting part here. That's where the drive shaft comes through, the transmission and all that. I think when I cut the body, I'm going to be cutting it this side of the transmission, so I don't have to extend the drive shafts or anything like that. So I'm not overly worried about this not laying flat at this point in time, and I'm certainly not going to cut the cab any more than I need to. Well, there it is. I guess if I just push it far enough forward. So we can see how by cutting it, we've got enough clearance for the bed to drop all the way down now. And it's sitting pretty flush, so I'll put it on its side here and just kind of do a mock up there. But you know, we can see we're getting there. Obviously, you know, it's too far back. Don't criticize me there. We've got to get that clearance when we cut the chassis. But you know, I think we're getting there. The next hang up, of course, is I'm not laying as low as I want to yet. And just looking at it, I can tell you right now that these wire traces here, where the ESC would sit and the wire would come through, that's holding me up a couple of millimeters. So we'll have to shave all of that down to make the clearance. That'll probably get us another 3-4 millimeters. Beyond that, we'll have to do a bit of front suspension work because we do have a little bit more play in there. The back, of course, once we get this cut, I'm going to show you guys how to drop that back axle even lower. We got to do a bit of work up there, but yeah, let me change the camera view here and we can have a quick little look around. So here we are. This is kind of how we're sitting right now. Again, I think we can get another 5 to 6 millimeters of clearance, which will get us pretty close. Considering it's sitting on, you know, scale 11R 22.5s, I know we're not going to get all the drop in the world. One of our limitations is you can see how the tires themselves are actually making contact now with the hood support. So I don't know what more I can do about that. I mean, I can trim into the hood support a little bit, but we'll see. We got a couple millimeters worth of play. But again, you know, there's a bit of suspension work that we're going to do up front. That'll bring us down a little bit more. The next problem is, of course, the scale lug nuts are making contact with the body. So that's probably as low as we're going to be able to go on that. I'm pretty satisfied with that. Just a short little video today, guys. I apologize. Life has gotten pretty busy, but the next video we come back in, I think we're going to wind up cutting the back of the chassis off. We'll figure out how to mount it up, and also we've still got to figure out how to mount the body to the chassis. I did see on another build where somebody had used some angle iron in here, and the angle iron kind of went the length of the chassis, and they notched the back of the cab. So there's always that idea, I guess. But we'll play with it a bit more. I think we're getting there. I know I said beginning of the video that that color of body wasn't going to stay on there, but I'm kind of digging that yellow. But we got to do something a little bit nicer than that, I think. So, anyways, thanks guys, and we'll try to get another one out here as soon as we can.